So Ruben, welcome to Manchester. You enjoying the city?
Yeah, it's quite lovely, sunny for 4 days. It's really cold, but without wind, without rain, you can work very well, and people are very nice, very polite, and that's different in some parts in Portugal. But I'm enjoying a lot.
And what have you made of the club? Obviously, you've been to the stadium. You've been to the stadium before, but you've been to the training ground now. What's your first impressions?
The first impression is that it's so big, with a lot of departments. I came from a small country, of course, a big club in the small country. Here is a different world. You have a lot to do. You are not just a coach. You have to be something more. So it's a little bit different, but I think I'm prepared for that. And this Manchester United. It doesn't matter the last years. You feel the weight of the history, and you want to be part of that. You know, you feel that if you win here, it will be different than in every club in England. You can feel that, but you also understand that the responsibility is big and it is going to be tough. We will have really hard moments. But in the end, I truly believe that we are going to succeed.
Does that confidence come from just your belief in how you've been successful at Sporting in the last few years?
Not just that, because I follow the sport, not just the games, but what happened with the other coaches. So I know that you can win, and you have Eric. Eric was amazing in Ajax. For me, he built the best two teams outside the 5 strongest leagues. So it's not just that, but I have one idea. So I know what to do. When I know what to do, it could go wrong, I know, but I'm comfortable because I know that step 1, step 2, step 3. And with that, I have confidence that we are going to achieve something.
You've talked about that in your interview you did when you first come last week, this one idea. What is this one idea?
One idea is like to be practical because it is too abstract. One idea is that when the ball is in one place and we are with the ball or without the ball, every player has the same idea. Imagine that one guy receives the ball between the lines and he turns. Every guy in the team knows what to do, and everybody thinks the same. So it's quite simple like that. You can call it like hard work, be professional, all that stuff. But in my mind, one idea, one identity is everybody have the same idea when the ball is here, there, or there. So that's quite simple. In this one idea is to understand the game in the same way, see the game in the same way, do the things in one way.
You said before about you'd look back at the managers that have been previously. There've been some great managers here over the last 5 years. You just mentioned Erik ten Hag, but they've really struggled to increase their win percentage above mid-50s. What do you think you look at that's happened there and think, I need to change that, or what's gone wrong with their regimes when they've been at the club?
That is a hard question to answer, because if I know, everybody will know, because they have experience more than me. What I can speak about is that they contact me to be here because they saw something. So I will do my thing. I will not try to find out the right thing to do, or try to find out what is missing with Eric, with Mourinho, with Van Gaal. I will not try that, because I think it's a waste of time. They reach me because they saw something, and I do something in a clear way. When you watch a team from, for example, Sporting, you'll know what you will get. So I will continue to do that, and that is my main focus. I really don't know what they miss here, but I think I know I will do my thing, my way, and try to find out what is missing in my way of seeing football.
You obviously, I think you'll know that coming in mid-season is more challenging than coming in pre-season. You've got a very distinct system. How will you be able to implement that idea mid-season when the games are coming thick and fast? Is that a biggest challenge for you at this moment?
Of course, you don't have time to train. Is a new system, but you imagine that you have a line of 5 or a line of 4. The principles are the same. If you want to press with one and do a second line, you can do a second line with 4 guys or 3 guys. So I think it's more than a system, is the principles that you have to teach. And for that we need also time. When I think the problems that we will have is more in the way you do things, with the speed, with the intensity, than they to learn how to play with 5 or 4 in the back. They are professional players, all the players are international. So I think it's more, for me, I'm more stressed about the way you do things than the way they have to do with 4 or 5 defenders. So that is quite simple for me.
I think this team over the last 5 or 6 years have played mainly quite deep and on the counter-attack. How do you change that so that you get the defence up the pitch another 20 metres, 15 metres, and you get the pressing a lot higher?
That is a good question. The first thing, I think we have to be better athletes. That is something that you can acknowledge when we are here and we see the data.
You mean fit? You mean fitter than they currently are?
Yeah. When I see fitter, is not thinner or nothing about that. Is the data. You have to understand that the data to press high, what is the average meters that you have to run with high speed run, the sprint. You have all this data and you have to cope with that. So you already know your goal is to reach that. Of course, you play with the ball. Yeah. If you can run a lot, but if you don't understand the game, it doesn't matter. But in the first point, to press high, you have to be very fit, and you have to cope with the demands of pressing high. And I think one of the problems that we have, and I don't like to speak like that because I'm saying that I know the right way and the other way is the wrong way. Yeah. No, I'm just telling my way of seeing things, is that the problem is with the ball. I think we lose the ball too fast. We win the ball, we lose the ball. And you cannot press high all the time. So you have to keep the ball and understand that you have to be in the position to start one play. This is something that with the ball we can press better. So the focus this week also was in that part. To don't lose. If you don't lose the ball, you can push higher. If you are higher, you can press better. So it's like a snowball. Everything is connected, but if I know how to do it, I will do it in the snap of the fingers. So we need a lot of time, but during this time we have to win games and we have to manage. So important for me is that they have to understand the game. If you have to defend inside the goal of Onana, we'll defend inside the goal of Onana. If you have to press her in the opposite side, we'll do it. But we have to understand the game. Yeah.
What are your non-negotiables?
It's easy to see. You can say the pretty things like hard work, be professional. It should be. This is Manchester United in every club, but here, of course, this is you cannot run from that. Then is to think first in the team. So I know that some guys sometimes will play in the different position, but they have to understand the position and they have to fight for the team. Yeah. This is something that I can, as a former player, I know every trick. I can understand the players. I can understand what they are doing, why they are doing. If they are doing for the team, I will defend them until the end. I can lose my job before I put one player in front of the bus. Yeah. As you can say like that, but if he doesn't put the team in first place, I will be the first one to talk with the player.
You mentioned professionalism. I have to ask you this because I've made a comment this week about Casemiro and Marcus Rashford travelling to America in their few days off. And it was just me thinking as a Manchester United player when I played here that you've got a few days off, the club are 13th in the league, the manager has just been sacked. It's a challenging part of the season and the new manager is about to come in, and that focus and preparation and not every single little detail is really important. And I said I don't think I would have chosen that trip to go to America with the time difference. I did get it wrong, I think they went to New York rather than Portland, so I apologise for that. but there's still a 5-6 hour time difference. They're on planes. Casemiro's 30 years of age. Are you comfortable with that?
The first thing, it was 5 days off.
Yeah.
The second thing, they received the information of 5 days off, and they are big boys. They have kids, so they decide what to do.
Yeah.
I think the main question here is us as a club have to set the standards and have to manage that. It's my decision if they can have 5 days as a coach, or 3 days, or is 3 days to rest, you cannot fly. This is something that us as a club has to decide.
So you think you would have set a different structure maybe for that period?
For me, yes, for sure. But we cannot put this on the players. They told them they have 5 days off, so they can fly anywhere. Because nobody in the club says you cannot fly. So they have to live their lives because they are grown men and they have to decide these things. But us as a club has to change in these standards. You said that you, as a player, talk in a different way.
I wouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah,
I would have taken the 5 days off, but I would have probably done something different with that 5 days than getting on a plane to the US. You seem to be saying something similar.
For me, the big difference is your time. You had a great leadership at the time, very, very strong, and the culture was already here when you started.
Yeah.
So it's a long time with the same identity, the same way of seeing things, and you feel I'm just imagining, but even your teammates, if you do that, they will talk to you.
Yeah.
So now is a different point, and you have to acknowledge that. So this must be started in the club with us, me as a responsible in that area. So we cannot in this time put that on Rush or Casa. They receive the information, 5 days off, do what you like. So we have to, as a club, set a better standards, and we will try to do that.
Is your problem with the actual 5 days off? Actually, you think it's too long?
It depends. It's very individual, and you have to see how many players stay. All of these things. Yeah. These players are playing or not. They were injury or not. I think 5 days for me it's too much, because after 3 days you lose something, so you have to see that. But sometimes you feel that it's better he loses something physically but wins something mentally. Yeah. So it's something individual. Yeah. But I want to say it again. It should not be the player's decision. It should be our decision as a club, and we are responsible to set that examples and standards, whatever you want to call it.
Take me back to the very first time you heard from someone at Manchester United and they said, we'd like to speak to you about being the manager. Who was that, and when, how did you feel when that happened?
I already had conversation with clubs, so it was quite normal. But what I felt at the time, I felt that this is my place, because of all of that things that you said about the moment of this club. I think it's perfect for me. I think I can feel it. If everything is going right here and we are winning, maybe it was not for me. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it better. But I think it was the right club in the right moment for me. It was very tough to leave Sporting, because in the middle of the season, you can say everything. It's Manchester United, it's everything, it's the moment, it's the club that I want, but you are leaving your guys in the middle of the season. Yeah. So it was really hard, but I had to do it, and I was like so happy. Of course, you can see it in every intervention that I have, but I also felt that is in the first moment a little bit overwhelming. But after 5 minutes, you start thinking about the club, the team, the players, how to play. So it was quite fun.
But it's true that, I'm talking now as a United fan, not someone who's interviewing you for Sky, but you look like you're beaming and you're sort of so happy to be here. I mean, it's an important thing, that just to sort of the message to the fans, the body language, you know, it's important.
Of course, and I know that in this moment our fans are with mixed feelings. Like, I want to be excited, but I have been here, so I have to be. I'm a little bit afraid. It's the same story all the time. I can be disappointed. So what can I say is that I'm really excited. I'm not afraid to show it, but I'm a clear idea that this will take time. Don't confuse my happiness with naivety. Naivety. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. I know what to do, but I have idea that we are going to suffer a little bit before improving in the way that you should improve.
You've given us a lot of insight into how you're going to manage the players. In terms of, obviously, at Sporting, you with Hugo Viana, you had a great relationship. What do you expect from the people above you?
We can talk about, for example, Dave. Dave is known to create cultures. Of course, it's different sports, but he can prove that he can create cultures that win, and strong cultures. And we need that in the club. I think everybody, we don't need to hide that. We need to build that. Before to build something else, we need to build that in our staff, in our way to see things. Then you have Dan. Dan is well known here in England. He has the same position of Hugo Viana. One of the things, to be practical in that, to explain, is that it's important when a coach or a manager, more a coach, says something, you have someone like Dan that says the same thing to the players. This connection is so important in the club, and then the player is going to talk with the agent, and the agent will talk with Dan, and he will hear the same thing. This is so important because the players will feel that there is no place to run, or there is no place to hide. So we have to be on the same page. Then you have Jason, is the technical director. It's so important because for me, we need to improve Carrington with the youth teams. So we need to create a profile for the type of players that you want in the first team, and we have to improve. We have good players, but we should be better for what I saw.
You mentioned game model in your interview the other day, that you're going to introduce a game model. Does that mean, I mean, explain it to me, but also to everybody at the club, does that mean that what you implement in the first team now will change throughout the actual academy and the youth teams and other sort of parts of the club? Obviously, the last few years they've been working a different way. Does that mean it changes now that you come in, you're looking for a direction to change through the whole club?
No, for me, there's nothing to do with that. You have to have the same principles, and you have to understand the profile of the players. If I need the number 6, when you go up in the scale of youth teams, you have to work a little bit more specifically the type of 6 that we use. But here, down, when they are growing up, they can play in different system. I think it helped. They have to understand the game. It's not understanding a system. They don't have to grow up playing in 3-4-3. They have to understand the game. You can play 4-3-3 because we will change the players. If you play with Dalot in one side, or you play with Diallo in the same position, is the same position, different guy, different structure. I'm
interested in that. Will you play defensive fullbacks in wing-back positions, or will you play attacking wingers, or will you move between the two?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but you have to use both. Because you have the different games. We should start with fullbacks because the structure has to. Because to teach a winger how to defend is harder.
Impossible.
Yeah. But you don't have too much.
No.
So if you are putting Dalot all the time, Mazraoui all the time, Malassi is returning, Shaw, he cannot do it at the moment. So you have to adapt some players, and this is also the hard part to start in the middle of the season.
Is it? I think the club will probably say that the limit with FFP, the financial sustainability. So it's unlikely that there's going to be a lot of changes in January. Is that a strength that actually for 8 months you're likely to be working with the same group of players and actually you've not got a big transfer window in the summer? You know, that's the positive, I suppose, is it, for you to be able to work with them?
The first thing, I'm not thinking about that. I'm really not thinking about that. I need to know the players.
Yeah.
Then we are addressing that with Jason and with Dan. We have to improve the recruitment, but improve recruitment is the process. So you have to have the data. We have to put the profiles on point. So they have to understand how I want to play and what I need for each position. So this is very clear, and we are trying to do that very, very fast. But this is the first moment. If we start without everything, the data, physical data that every position demands, the character of the player, if we don't have a clear process, we cannot start buying players. So our focus is to build that, and then when the windows open, we will see. Yeah. But I'm not thinking about that in the moment.
You're currently in 13th position, but actually only 4 points off top 4. Is that still the aim this season for you to take the club into the Champions League? Is that what you're looking at?
The first thing, I'm not thinking anything else than winning the next game. And people will say that I'm hiding the responsibility. You and the other guys will judge me for the position. I really don't care. I know that. That's why we are Manchester United, and people expect to be on top 4. That I know. It's not. I don't have any goal in the end of the season. I have one goal for this game, and then to the other game. So I have so much to do. I will focus on every game. What can I say is that we have the responsibility not just to fight for every game, but to win every game. It's going to be hard. That is the goal. But I will not tell you that we have to be here in the end or there on top 4 or on top 6. I will be judged for that, but this is not my goal at the moment.
I think you said the other day that you wanted to meet with Sir Alex Ferguson and maybe, I think you mentioned Roy Keane as well, to have a dinner or with players that have played for the club before. He's actually on the television doing the game at Ipswich. Do you want me to pass on the invitation to Roy for dinner with him?
Roy Keane?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a player that I really liked. I know he's a little bit crazy. You know?
He's a lot crazy. You know?
Yeah. But he was a massive player. Yeah, and I like players with character. Yeah. I think they can improve. Not just what Roy Keane did on the pitch, the way he influenced the others. I think that is very important. In one player, you must have this kind of player in the big clubs, and I hope we'll have in the future players like Roy Keane. Sir Alex Ferguson, you want to ask so many things. I think he will talk about horses. He told me that. I don't understand nothing about horses, but it will be amazing to meet that kind of character.
Ruben, it's been brilliant speaking to you, and Manchester United fans absolutely love their managers. They always support them, and all the very best to you. You do a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.